Hello and welcome to Read Aloud Stories with Mrs. R. I'm Mrs. Rosenthal, but a lot of kids like to call me Mrs. R. Have you ever looked forward to doing something and then it didn't work out? Maybe you were going to have a play date and your friend got sick. That can be frustrating. In the story I'm about to read, the main character is an apple who dreams of one day becoming part of an apple pie. It looks like things will work out and then everything goes wrong. Will Apple's dream ever come true? The title of the book is Apple's Big Dream. Apple's Big Dream, written by Jessica Collaco, illustrated by Estrada. Once there was an apple who dreamed of being part of an apple pie. He felt so happy, imagining himself tucked under a blanket of crust, surrounded by other apples, bubbling together to make something yummy and sweet. Apple was certain today was the day his dream would come true. Oops! Apple fell on the floor. He rolled towards Baby. Baby gave Apple to Dog. Dog ran outside and dropped Apple at Kid's feet. Kid kicked Apple. Squirrel grabbed Apple and scampered up a tree. Squirrel took a few bites of Apple and dropped him. Oomph! A big boot stomped on Apple and pushed him deep into the ground. This was not how Apple had imagined his dream would come true. Now he was just a little bit of apple, stomped, smushed, and stuck in the earth. Apple just had to get out. He hoped Dog would dig him up, or Kid would find him and carry him back to the kitchen. But no one came. Days and nights passed, and Apple felt angry and confused. How could he be part of an apple pie now? Oh no! How can he be part of an apple pie now if he's stuck in the earth? What do you predict will happen? When you predict, you guess what's going to happen in the story. So what do you predict? He felt so mad, he burst. The ground grew cold and hard. Apple gave up his dream. He felt so sad, he didn't want to move. Night after night, he lay stuck in the earth. One day, the sun rose, and Apple felt the ground begin to warm. It reminded him of his dream. The ground around him started to feel good. He felt still instead of stuck. Apple imagined he was tucked under a blanket of crust, bubbling together with other apples in the warmth of the sun. Apple grew and grew until one day he was a tree full of apples. Girl came and picked his apples. She took them to Baker. Baker made the apples into pies. People bought pie and sat outside enjoying themselves under the shade of his branches. Apple looked down at all the smiling faces and knew his dream had come true. He was, indeed, part of something yummy and sweet. The end. Isn't it wonderful how everything worked out for Apple? I'm so glad he became a tree and that his dream came true. Is that what you predicted? You know, not everything works out the way that you plan it, but sometimes it turns out even better. Meanwhile, thanks so much for watching Apple's Big Dream at Read Aloud Stories with Mrs. R. Until next time, don't forget to read.